Hello, Norma. How are you doing?
I'm
You look
good.
amazing, by the way. I love the
My
hair.
dear, I finally made it to the salon.
Lovely
So
hair.
I'm really happy with myself. My hair was a mess. I'd been doing the best I could, being the person I am. But today I just needed somebody to help me wash my hair. So I'm feeling good. But
You look lovely.
I feel lovely. Thank you very much.
So
How
what
are you
salon
doing?
did we go to?
It's Fabs, as you know.
Oh.
You imagine, okay, let me not reveal. But imagine going all the way back, mainland. I beg.
Please.
You know?
Trust me. We are,
Oh my God.
we are in Lekki, but we are not off Lekki.
Yes, we are in the lake, but not
We are not
off
off.
the lake.
We are not
oh
off Lekki.
my
No.
goodness, no.
You know what
But
is
the
even really
difference
annoying
actually
is that
clear, because when you get good service and then you have affordable pay, I mean,
you don't.
it's a win-win situation.
The anger for me with Lekki is that you charge me so much, and yet
then
I can't
you're
see.
Crappy. The other day when I went to the salon, I said, "What?" And by the time they were done, I said, "You know what? I'm going back to my roots. Sorry." Yes, Fabs did an amazing job.
Yes, so they made my hair as well.
Oh,
so
of course.
I'm rocking it for 1
We will
week.
keep louding it.
Yes,
They're doing an amazing job.
Interesting. So today,
There's
conversation,
too much heavy talk.
there's too much happening in the news, too many things. You know, we've been holding off this conversation for a bit, but I think it's time for us to have the conversation of the young girl, Deborah Samuel, that was lynched and eventually burnt. Too many conversations all over the place. Is it religion? Is it lack of what's it called, justice, or lack of law and order, or is it ignorance? So many things happening in the news about the young girl, and it's really, really heartbreaking, because for me what was scary is the fact that even in an institution, right, the people in the institution could not even protect the girl. They had to summon her out of the institution. I mean, so it's just a lot of emotions going through my mind, that where exactly is safe in Nigeria? Where is safe in the country? So we're discussing Deborah Samuel, as I earlier said, and here's what we found as today's quote. It's an universal law. Intolerance is the first sign of an inadequate education. An ill-educated person behaves with arrogant patience rather, impatience, whereas truly profound education breeds humility. So when you see people acting, in a certain way, you would know that they're really ill-educated. Now, Deborah Samuel, a 200 level home economics student of Shehu Shagari College of Education in Sokoto, was on Thursday, 12th of May, 2022, said to have made a comment in her school's WhatsApp platform, which her Muslim colleagues considered blasphemous of the Prophet Muhammad, and killed her before setting her corpse ablaze. So it's our ladies' night out, and Norma and I will be discussing Deborah Samuel's death. Is it a show of religious intolerance? Is it an absence of law and order, or ill education? When we open our phone lines, we really, really love to hear what you have to say. Please let me sound a little bit of caution. Let's be careful with words that we use, because people are sensitive at this time, so we do not further agitate. Instead, let's even understand what the situation is. So when we open our phone lines, I would really love Muslims to call in, Christians to call in. Let's hear ourselves and let's hear what you have to say. But first, let's take a break to see what we found in the news. You're still watching Ways Now. International Day Against Homophobia, Biophobia and Transphobia is observed on May 17th and aims to coordinate international events that raise awareness of the LGBT rights violations and stimulate interest in LGBT rights works worldwide. By 2016, the commemoration had taken place in over 130 countries. The founders of the International Day Against Homophobia, as it was originally known, established the IDAHO committee to coordinate grassroots action in different countries to promote the day and to lobby for official recognition on May 17. That day was chosen to commemorate the decision to remove homosexuality from International Classifications of Disease of the World Health Organization in 1990. So we're talking intolerance today. So when I saw this day, I said, "Oh, what a what a coincidence!" This is one thing that a lot of people are not tolerant about. I am learning.
A lot of people are not.
Even though I do not support it, because I feel like biologically, there is an attraction a man and a woman have that is stronger than anything. But I'm learning to just say, you know what? I see you. I hear you. And I respect your decision. That's tolerance, right?
Absolutely.
And you can only understand tolerance from a point of love. You love people regardless. I mean, we are not perfect human beings, but I love you, I see, and that doesn't mean I need to bring you into my space. I can love you from afar, can just keep you at bay and respect your decisions, right? That's it. And I think that's how we should translate tolerance across everything.
Understanding is key. I mean, we're different people, different individuals, and when you understand how people's either culture or society background where they're raised up and how they end up becoming the people that they are, then you will understand what made them to make the decisions that they made in life. I may not be happy with the decisions that you have made, but I can understand you're coming from somewhere, and I can learn to tolerate you the same way because we're different in our different ways. So I think the world needs more than ever understanding, compassion, and love, for fellow human beings, irrespective of the choices that they have made, even though we don't agree with them, because that's what makes us all different individuals all over the world.
Absolutely. It's so interesting. It's interesting how they say that he who has no sin should cast the first stone. People keep forgetting that no human being on earth is perfect, right? So the fact that somebody is, at the point where the person seems like exposed and all of that, everybody knows what is going on, the shenanigans happening, does not mean that that nobody has seen or heard anything about, don't have your sins, right? It's interesting. The subject of homosexuality is still one that, I keep wondering why, but you see, I remember that when I was going to school as a young girl, I had a friend that had gone to an all-girls school. She was so particular because she was very close to me. She wanted me to come to her school and all of that. She wanted me to come to her school. It was a federal government girls' school and all of that. But because of the stories I had heard about lesbianism and all, I said, "Oh, Mom, I'm not going." I told my mother, I said never. But I could tell that at that point she had already been initiated, because immediately she came back from boarding house, she was a bit different with me. She was a lot more touchy and all of that. But you see, if I was raised in a Buddhist shrine, I would be practicing Buddhism. If I was raised in a Hindu shrine, I would have been. So
absolutely.
So we do not own we do not have control over where we are, where we come from, our families that were raised in, and all of that. But what we do have control over as humans is when we get to the realization,
the choices that we
don't begin to take choices after. Yes, intentionally. That's what you have the control over. You can intentionally say that, yes, I might be this, but this is what I want to do going forward, right? So I think, that would really help people, to some extent. All right, so we do not really have nice stories in the news today, unfortunately, but we will try to just make the best. So what did you find for us?
Unfortunately, I have to go first to bring the really, really sad news about the explosion that took place earlier today. Alleged explosion, whether it is
because there are still speculations that it's still
there's a lot of speculation around it that there's still under investigation, whether it's a bombing or an explosion, gas explosion, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, a lot of children were affected and many are feared dead in this explosion that took place in Kano. So the story has it that scores are feared dead following an explosion along the Koch Road in Sabon Geri, Kano State today. The explosion occurred near a private secondary school, Winners School, and destroyed the residential building and an affected part of the school. So the explosion occurred this morning, and some of the visuals that were totally disturbing on social media, we had incidents of school children crying for help. Some of the parents were seen running and rushing up and down trying to rescue their children. A lot of them were injured, they had blood all over them. Some of them were stranded, you know, and they were still expecting responders on the scene. So as of the time of the report, security operatives were said to have been on ground. We had the Army, Police, NSCDC, and that had surrounded the place. And also the National Emergency Management Agency and Fire Service operatives were also on ground trying to rescue victims. It's really sad, and I can't even imagine the thought of taking my kids to school only to receive this kind of news that an explosion has taken place. And it tells on the bigger picture that Nigeria, you know, this situation we have been crying over about the security, either the state of security in the country, or even some of the things that people are not aware of around them. You know, whether it was a gas explosion, I don't even know why a gas plant or whatever it is would be located near a school. And if it was an actual explosion of some sort, then it tells that there is a security breach in the state. And this is not just about Kano State. We're talking about situations also in Lagos. We're talking about situations in different parts of the country. You don't even want to go to the southeast, where there have been countless of situations, unknown gunmen, whatever it is. This all boils down to the fact that there is a critical problem on ground that we need either the state government or the federal government to plug into and begin to seek ways of resolving this matter before it becomes way out of hand and uncontrollable.
Well, the police commissioner, I think, for Kano State had come out to say, because a lot of speculations when this first happened. I remember my mom sending me the video. These days she takes permission first. She said, please, can I send you? That there are other very horrible ones, but she didn't want to send it. But she wanted to
very gory details.
Yeah, she wanted to take my permission. I said, Mommy, please don't send it, because I'm already depressed as I am. Do not even add to my, you know. So a lot of speculations was that it was a bomb blast, but the commissioner for police for Kano says that it is not a bomb blast. Samail Diko, he says that it is actually a gas
feed farm,
gas explosion. So let us believe that it's a gas explosion, and investigations are still ongoing. And I think the last time I checked, I read it was somewhere around 9 people that had died or something. So I don't know.
And a lot of people were injured.
I saw so many blood on the t-shirts of the children.
The children were covered in blood. A lot of them were injured.
And they were really toddlers,
small, really small.
Real
so
toddlers.
It broke my heart completely, because these children, I can only imagine the fear that they experienced when it actually occurred.
Yeah,
and some of them are still trying to locate their parents. Parents are still trying to locate some of their kids as well.
All right, so my story is also not so much of a great news. ASU, they say gunshots as soldiers disperse protesting students in Ondo State. Men of the army have allegedly stormed the scene of the students where they were protesting. The students had gone out for day 2, right, to protest the lingering strike of the Academic Staff Union, that's the ASU. Videos obtained by correspondent had shown that soldiers marching in their numbers with guns alongside a van being driven after them, sporadically shooting in the air, and again just to disperse the students who had, blocked some major parts of the state, including the Biniore Expressway. This is really sad. Why I actually picked this story, it just brought back 2020 October 10, what's called NSAS, October 20th, 2020, where peaceful protesters were using military guys to disperse a peaceful protest.
Again,
now,
it has come to play.
Students are not in school, right? Education is one of the biggest thing that can either make or mar any nation, right? And you have students on the road protesting. Instead of you to sit down to try to resolve the issue as a government, you're sending military guys, men of the Nigerian army. These children, they are not holding weapons. Like, are we not tired of the same story? This is the same thing. This is like, it's just a reminder, because they say that even shooting in the air is as dangerous as a direct gun to the chest, because it can hit anybody. A stray bullet can hit anyone, and we still have these things over and over again. Is it that our intelligence with the army, they are not smart enough to find ways to resolve, any form of, or dissolve any form of gathering that, like a protest? Must you go in that direction of using guns? It does not make any sense to me. We've lost lives as a result of things like this, and a repetition. It means that no lesson was learnt from the EndSARS protest. It means that it's going to be business as usual. It means that people do not have the right to say, you know what, we are tired of the status quo of things. Does this mean, does it not mean anything to the government to see what it is that you're doing to this nation?
I'm not even sure if that conversation has been had. What are the lessons that we're taking away from situations around, as in what can we do better? Because it would take a government who is forward thinking, who wants to make change, and who wants to be able to see that change come to pass, to be able to take that step back and review. How are we doing? What are the things that we're doing well? Some of the things we've implemented, how well have we done? What can we do better? It's a government that is thinking in that direction. Unfortunately, we haven't seen it in the actions that have been taken so far. So all we continue to see is a repetition of what has happened before, where we still have, military personnel.
I just don't want to believe that they don't have intelligent people in the military that cannot find a more less harmful way to disperse any protest or something. Why would you always go back to shooting in the air? It is not. It's a no-no
conversation until something is done with regards to sitting down and taking a look. We may not be able to see those changes that are necessary, because it's people who are thinking that the people that they're serving really matter, that will be able to take that step back. And I'm hoping that at some point that this will be done, whether in the near future or even now, because it's really becoming something that can cause even more chaos before we know it.
All right, so we'll take a break now. When we come back from the break, we want to discuss Deborah Samuel's death, and let's just analyze and see how we can make sense of all of this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
My dear friends, I must be honest with you. Today, I would have preferred not to be here to preach to you. Today, I would have preferred to lock myself up in my chapel before God alone, to weep and to pray. To weep and to pray for my nation, where darkness has descended to weep and pray for my church that is being stifled out of existence in the world and also in Nigeria. To weep and pray for Deborah Emmanuel, who was killed because she found herself in a part of Nigeria she thought was home, but it wasn't. To weep and to pray for my brother and friend, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, the world-acclaimed voice of the voiceless, who has now become soft target for those same voiceless people who see him as part of their problem rather than as part of the solution. To weep and to pray for the poor, miserable murderers of Deborah, who have been left uneducated and unemployed deliberately so that they can be manipulated, brainwashed, and instrumentalized for political ends by religious bigots and political egoists. To weep and to pray for people who should be leaders, religious leaders, who enjoy being ambivalent in the condemnation of evil when it is perpetrated by one of them. To weep and to pray for our political leaders, under whose watch this nation has crumbled.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Catholic Bishop of Nsukka Diocese, Enugu State, Bishop Godfrey Igwebuike Ona, had accused the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration of deliberately crumbling Nigeria. Ona, who was reacting to the gruesome murder of the student of Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto State, over the alleged blasphemy of Prophet Muhammad, lamented how violence, corruption, and other vices have become culture and tradition in this part of the world. The clergyman, who is angered by the realities in the country, expressed sadness over attacks on the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthew Kuka, residence. Right? Daily Post recalls that Kuka's house was reportedly attacked a few days ago following protests launched in parts of Sokoto State by some Muslims over the arrest of suspected killers of the 200-level students. The senseless killing of this young girl triggers a lot of questions to where we are as citizens of the world. Was this barbaric act a show of religious intolerance, an absence of law and order, or ill education like he alleged? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Okay, so Norma, I am particularly not in a happy place today, because I don't even know where to start the conversation from. But I wouldn't know maybe if things have changed so bad from when I was growing up, because when it comes to, let's take it piece by piece, religious intolerance, I never understood what that word meant until maybe much later in life, because I could go into a mosque, literally. I would do the ablution with my neighbors that were Muslims. They would teach me how to do the prayers, and they would come, we'd sing the songs together. But everybody understood that you were Muslim, I was Christian, and yet we could still do all those things and go back peacefully to practicing our religion without being compromised in our faith, right? When it was Christmas, we would take food to them. When it was Salah, it was a must. You know, everybody would, I mean, Christmas, you see line up of, because like neighbors, like 14 neighbors, so they would line the coolers in big sizes, not even small sizes. So you were cooking with the mind that I'm feeding not just my family, but the entire neighborhood. So people would come. So when I hear things about religious intolerance, I still cannot relate, right? I still can't relate. You know, I feel that a lot of things has gone wrong in this country. And the biggest challenge I see is that everybody is more focused on ambitions than actually the nation called Nigeria. That's what I think is the biggest problem, but I don't know about you. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I can resonate with what you were saying. Growing up, I think as an older person, that was when I started knowing that there's a difference, or that we were different. Growing up in the North as well, North was home. North is still home for some of us. I don't know about others. But being in that position where I could meet people, I could, you know, communicate, I could relate without fear or any form of prejudice, was the ultimate experience as a Nigerian. And that was no, surprise there that some of us didn't, some of us will say we're true Nigerians because we've been all over the country. We have lived and we've experienced the people, we've experienced the culture, we embraced some of it, you know, just to be able to have that sense of belonging as a nation. But when things like situations that we're seeing in the current state of our country show up, then you begin to wonder, is there really a country? It is deep, because when people start making certain comments or certain statements that, oh, you don't belong, or when there is, for example, if somebody who grew up in Lagos says, I'm a Lagosian, I can vie for, and that's when it's remembered that, oh, you know, you are not from Lagos State, or you are not born in Lagos, or things like that. So with situations of religion, like you rightly said, growing up in the North, we had Muslims as neighbors. We received meals from them during festive periods, and then during Christmas or during our own festive periods, we also share what we had. So at the point where people now begin, in the face of conflict, then people now remember, oh, you are this and I am this. It now begins to tell you that, was it a dream or a facade that we embraced?
So,
and this is now the actual reality of the situations on ground.
So the Bishop Godfrey, right? That's his name. Was talking about uneducated, unemployed. He mentioned those two words. So I believe education has a major part to play in this, because again, I have a lot of Muslims as friends, really close friends. And you know, when we have conversations, you can't be afraid to say your mind around them. Because I believe that some of them have been exposed, they have that exposure, then they understand, right? So you are not careful choosing your words. So is it possible that what we are seeing, you know, with the death of this young girl, is a lack of education, you know, is a major show of how ignorant a lot of people have become, that it is now almost to this point where you can actually decide that you want to fight a battle for God. Because I don't understand why, if somebody makes a blasphemous statement, because that blasphemy is still questionable, right? If somebody
she
makes,
didn't have that opportunity
to defend herself, if somebody makes a blasphemous statement, why you feel the need that you have to be the one to fight? So I saw a few people online calling out for, because you see, if we are talking, it is always nice that it is a Muslim that is coming out to talk about certain things, so that it doesn't look like, oh, we're just being biased because she's a Christian and all of that. Yeah. So the Zainab Mohammed, what's her name now? She came out in a post on Twitter, and she said she was, of course, giving her condolence. The UN Secretary General, she was giving her condolence. Amina Mohammed, sorry, not Zainab. She was giving her condolence, and she was calling out that the government should please do something while she sends her prayers to the family. She says justice must be done for the senseless, brutal killing of the young girl Deborah Yakubu in Nigeria. Religion or religions should not be misinterpreted to preach violence when they promote peace, right? So this is what she is saying. Whilst others, because I had to go back to screen grab. You remember when this issue first broke? The very first person prominent that put out a statement was Atiku. Yeah. That eventually he brought down that statement and did a video, a very long video explaining why that tweet and all of that. And what struck me the most was that the reason the tweet was brought down was a lot of Muslims came on his page attacking him, that he just lost their vote. He just lost their vote. He just lost their vote. So I want to read some of the tweets that I found. I just said, you know what? This is not for me to make any judgment. It's for us to just sit down and analyze and understand. Is this the reality? So that while you as a Christian or a Muslim, you are in a that's why I do not participate in religious conversation. But see, if you find yourself in that place where you are discussing religion, maybe then this should be like a sign to guide or guard your mouth, right? So Garba Shehu, Adamu Garba said, he said, there's no Muslim that don't respect the sanctity and divinity of Jesus Christ. And certainly there is no Muslim that will ever tolerate denigrating our beloved Prophet Muhammad. Insulting him is our uncompromising red line. Respect our sensibilities and avoid it. So this is what a Muslim came out to say. There's another captain, of course, that Azman Air has come to dissociate themselves from, is Captain Jamil Abubakar, who said that it was his personal opinion, and he was talking about, he says, Deborah Samuel, let me see if I can pull out, he said Deborah Samuel was stoned to death and burnt by some of her Muslim classmates. Oh no, let me try to pull out what he said, sorry. Let me pull out what he said. He said, in Islam, we respect the Injil, Torah, and Zabur. We were never taught to disrespect any of the book of any of the prophets from Adam to Muhammad and the Quran. The punishment for blasphemy is death. In most religions, it's including Christianity, respect people's, that he said the punishment for blasphemy is death in most religions, including Christianity. Respect people's religion. It's simple. Of course, people came and they were attacking him and saying they cannot believe. Somebody said, I mean, literally, sincerely shocked. You actually believe it is okay to take another person's life. But I don't know where in Christianity, maybe somebody would help me, because I've not seen it anywhere in Christianity where blasphemy
maybe
is
he's
now
referring to back in the days in the Jewish times where people, if you said something that they didn't believe in, then you were
so the Sheikh Ahmed Gumi came out also to condemn it. He said that the prophet's refusal to avenge, because that even the prophet himself was insulted by people, that his refusal to avenge the insults of non-Muslim, or that non-Muslim rained on him while he was alive, was because he did not want to be tagged a murderer. So anyone who kills a non-Muslim who have agreed to live peacefully with will not smell the fragrance of paradise for 40 years. So he's even saying, because they say that there's a reward for when you do certain things, you get a place in paradise and all of that. So I think these are prominent people coming out, to talk about views. To talk about this. So it just begs the question that what are we dealing with really? Is it a conversation around religious intolerance, or is the fact that we are in a country where there is no law and order, right? There is no rule of law, where I can do anything and I get away with it. I can take a life. Look at the young boy that was killed in Lekki for 100 naira. Where are the arrests that have been made? Whose life is going to be hung based on this boy that was killed, right? We see crimes being perpetrated on a daily basis, right? And nobody gets to go to jail, or nobody is killed for it, or nobody is electrocuted for it. So is this really a show of religious intolerance, or is the fact that Nigeria as a country, the corruption has eaten so deep that everybody can just do whatever it is that they feel like, and nobody is brought to book? Is that what we are suffering from? Or are we suffering from ill education, where a lot of people are not well educated, they do not understand, and they feel like, certain things, they need to fight certain battles on behalf of the divinity that they serve? What exactly are we suffering from?
Well, in my opinion, I think we're suffering from a little bit of
everything.
Everything. So when you take the religious intolerance, you see that unfortunately different people have different views, and based on who you're listening to, that is how you're going to be programmed. So some of our Muslim sisters and brothers believe that this is injustice. Taking a life in this manner was not the best solution that would come out of the situation. While some others believe that this is the law, or this is what we believe, that if anyone blasphemes against the prophet, then the ultimate punishment is death. So these divisions will tell based on who you're listening to. Absolutely. The different sheikhs, or the different instructors, or the people that they listen to, who do they listen to? It will shape their understanding, whether they are enlightened or not. So you have enlightened people making these comments, as well as people who are uneducated.
Absolutely.
So it depends on what do we have.
Yeah. So let's. I forgot that we need to open our phone lines.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go on a very quick break. We'll open our phone lines. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and our focus today is Deborah Samuel's death. We're asking, is this a show of religious intolerance? Is it an absence of law and order? Or it is just ill education that we're suffering from? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WaveShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WaveShow. Our phone line is now open. The number to call is 07025007749. Remember, please be cautious about the words you use. Religion is a very sensitive matter, and we do not want to further agitate anyone. So please, let's be cautious and be guarded. Remember to turn off the volume of your television set while you're calling. So
So I was saying, so there's the place of education and enlightenment, where if I have that understanding, then I'm able to tolerate what somebody, even if I do not agree to them.
Absolutely. Norma, please hold that thought. Let me take our first caller. Austin from Benin. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Okay, so yes, religious intolerance. I think that's what it is, and it's both in Islam and Christianity. I think what has happened in our country is that people have been so radicalized to a level where they take religion now to the extreme. Fashola said some time ago that he's surprised that even these two religions that we profess, these two major religions that came from the Middle East, that way we practice it here, the Middle East people don't even practice the religion the way it is. They are not fanatical about this religion the way Nigerians, the Nigerians do. Okay? Now, in the north, I think what is happening in the north is that a lot of youth in that place, they are not educated well enough to know that, look, these are things that should not generate violence. Well, Bishop Fuka said some time ago that what you just need to send people into the street is just a crate of mineral. Only a crate of mineral, they go to the street and unleash mayhem on the people. Now, so the point I'm trying to make is this. It's not just the Muslims now, even within among the Christians. I am a Catholic, for instance. Do you know that some persons have called me and said, look, you are not attending a Bible believing church. They tell me that they have told me that, look, you in the Catholic church, you people worship images, you don't worship God. Oh, you worship Mary, you don't worship Jesus Christ. So just imagine if you are saying that same thing to a Muslim, how the person will react. So that's just the problem. We have become so intolerant of.
Absolutely. But thank you so much, Austin. Yes. He had mentioned really. He said that all you need to do to get the Almajiris on the street, right, is to give them a crate of soft drink. But you see, the thing is that not poverty, and is that not ignorance? Because that's not religion. That is not religion at play there. It's deeper than that. So you see, when you keep the people ill-educated, automatically they are mercenaries for you. And that's what that bishop had said, the Catholic bishop, when he was talking about uneducated and unemployed. Yeah. You keep them at a place where they will continue to do your bidding. So if a politician or a government is not really focused on educating the people and empowering them in the real sense of empowerment, you are the one actually creating the chaos that we're seeing, because it means that for as long as these people remain jobless, ill-educated or uneducated,
people will find
they will always use them as a tool. They will thank you. These are working weapons.
Yeah, I was going to bring in that aspect, because even thinking about it, Deborah was in the university. Apart from those who are educated or who are not educated, that they can weaponize, you also have the educated ones who are still who are not enlightened. And there's a difference, right?
That's the ill-education.
The ill-education, because these were her classmates. And the moment that situation comes up, that maybe caution could have even taken place there. Oh, please, whatever it is. Till now, we still do not have, because Deborah is not even here to defend herself. We still do not know the extent. What exactly did she say that was?
It was something around how did she pass an exam?
Yes, even that conversation, we cannot have it as in the way it went at the end of the day.
I'll come back to that, but let me take a call. Lecinta from Gombe State. Thank you for calling. Are you there? You're live.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for calling.
Okay, I think the issue I see with this Deborah's issue is as a result of intolerance. Nigeria is a country where people see religion as if it's everybody's business. We fail to understand that religion is a personal affair. So Nigerians are generally judgmental people when it comes to religion. Even among we, the Muslims, you discover that when you see someone dressed in a particular way, somebody is quick to condemn you. So if not, as a Muslim, you're supposed to understand that even if this person has said something against your religion, you cannot fight for God. That's just the truth. So allow God to fight this battle. So as a Muslim, you're supposed to know that you don't have the right to take the life of fellow human beings, regardless of what their belief is.
Thank you so much.
So I see a lot of things, and I realize that people are not well informed here in the north. Sorry to say.
Thank you.
So religion is between you and your God, and it's a personal affair. And the earlier we take it like that, the better for us as a society.
Thank you so much, Jacinta.
In fact, that she just opened it up. A lot of people are not informed. So the moment something is not going in the way that you accept it, then the next thing people resort to, and it also comes from programming. The people in that environment, how are they programmed to so there are things that can, what's the word, that conducive environments that cause those things to come up based on the way they're programmed. You see somebody, and that's why somewhere early, when in the early late 90s into 2000, when the crisis started in Jos and in Kaduna, when people started finding out places that were most peaceful, that nothing of the sort could ever come up, and then all of a sudden you begin to program people to believe that once there's a crisis, then the people to go after. So like I said, it's a combination of all of these things, because when people are not programmed to love, when people are not programmed to tolerate one another, when people are not programmed to understand in the midst of differences.
Let me take Loma from Abia State, because what I was even thinking, shouldn't that have been an opportunity to educate her?
Exactly, you know, to caution her or to make her to understand that what she did was wrong.
From Abia State. Thank you for calling, Loma. You're live.
Yeah, good evening, my group that's in the house.
Good evening, Loma.
Yeah, it's Loma. See, just like the last one, an uninformed mind is a deformed mind. Now, let me take it from this way. Why is it that the Christians have not killed anybody when people talk about something on Jesus Christ? They are not that they don't believe that Jesus did something right. But it is because you want out. Some of the people that the other people that are not educated are educated people. So that's understand where I'm going. Educated ones always groom the uneducated, leading them to do what is not right. It is quite unfortunate. So it is right time that the elite up north should educate the younger ones. So that those uneducated, so that they'll start knowing what the religion is all about. We have good friends. I have Muslim friends. They don't talk about killing. They don't kill anybody. They are only supposed to talk about killing. It is because the educated ones try to manipulate the uneducated and make them to what they don't know. So please, it is high time. Let's use the opportunity to tell the educated ones. Let the elite in the north educate the uneducated. At the end of the day, this type of thing will not be happening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Loman.
You know, so the girl was asked, I think, something around her homework. How did it play? She said, "Oh, Jesus." So it was Jesus, and then I said, So it's actually very sad. It's sad that, you know, even because you see, I've had, and that's why I'm very careful not to go into arguments, right, with people. I mean, when the Sharia crisis was happening back and forth in Kaduna State, I remember there was a story that we heard, was a boy actually hid his friend that was a Muslim in the roof of his ceiling. He hid him because he was in a Christian, you know, when the crisis breaks like that, wherever you are, you have to check if you're in a safe place. Or so he was not in a safe zone because he was in a Christian part of Kaduna. You know, when the threats had left the place and the people left the area and all of that, it was safe for him to come down from the roof of the ceiling to now go. He came down and took his dagger and slashed the tummy. It was because the boy survived. That's how come we heard the story. Do you understand? So, I mean, if you have gotten to that point where someone that even to the point that somebody that saved your life, right? Shouldn't you be thinking twice that, come, Am I really, practicing how the Prophet would have wanted? Because every part of Islam that I am aware of, right? I don't know so much. I haven't read the Quran, but I have been around Muslim friends. It has always been love. It has always been love. I've not had any of my Muslim friends that show me bitterness or hatred. Do you understand? So why? But let me take a call. I think we have another caller on the line. You're live. Hello, Benjamin, you're live.
Hello.
Go ahead, quickly.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Benjamin from Imo State.
Yeah.
I'm Imo State.
You're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Very much. It's a mind-troubling issue. I think the entire thing borders on lack of understanding. In fact, religious intolerance is a pandemic, a serious pandemic. And the earlier we tackle it, the better. You see, there are places where you go to and you begin to see what civilized people do. We don't need to be in America or Europe to be civilized. Let people move out to the Gambia here in West Africa and see the height of religious tolerance. I myself personally have been privileged to live in the house of a Muslim cleric, a Christian, and I was organizing choral practices, choir and catechism in his house, in his compound. During Christmas, they will give us candles, incense, and ask us to pray for them. During their own festival, usually in April, they call to basket. Christians will also give them the gifts to them. During Christmas period, the same people, you see them, you hardly can distinguish between Muslims and Christians because young Muslim boys and young Muslim girls join us in Christmas carols. And it has nothing to do. Our problem here is that most of our leaders confuse themselves and they use religion as governance. Governance and religion become the same. And then those following them will not act with impunity, believing that whatever they do, nobody will ask them questions, and that they are hopeful that they have a superior power somewhere to protect them. Otherwise, if they are punished, or if they understand that the constitution of this country makes it, in fact, there are laws in this country that make it criminal for somebody to kill another, they will not abide, and not abide by their religious belief. Their religious belief notwithstanding. And if Nigeria is a secular state, we should know that there is no state religion. And you cannot kill or contravene the law on the grounds of religion.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
In fact, while Benjamin was talking, I just remembered that today, I think over 20 lawyers or something, I can't remember the exact figure, of representatives who were representing the so-called people, those who are in custody at the time. And I'm wondering how these seeming young people could rally around and get this number of lawyers to come to their defense. Is it because they really believe that what these people have done is right?
That's what I'm saying to you now. It's the conviction. The actions that was taken based on the conviction that they had.
Absolutely.
So that programming, it's a very strong programming. And again, and I like what the last caller was talking about, the elite. We need to. You can't just say, okay, no, that's not how it's done. You must be ready to do the dirty work, go into the streets and educate the minds of these people, because a lot of people are ill-educated. They don't even understand the religion that they claim to practice, right? But let's take some comments. Fantastic evening, ladies. This conversation is succinct at this time and provokes a lot of sentiment. Religious discourse has never been easy among Nigerian youth, both Christians and nonetheless Muslims. I attribute all these to wrong indoctrination during childhood. How many of us as adults truly question what we were taught to believe as children? A wrongly indoctrinated child is a time bomb waiting to explode in adulthood. Let's think about that. This is Chigozie from Anambra State. You have a comment?
Yes, I do. It says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #Ways. Concerning the death of Deborah Samuel, I think the people that were involved in this dastardly, demonic, and heartless act went too far and took laws into their hands. There was a pastor, I really can't remember his name, he said that he read the Holy Quran and that he did not see where it was written where death penalty was the judgment for blasphemy. Even if Deborah blasphemed, is it not proper for her to be cautioned or counseled and also to put to order not to do it again, that it is wrong, rather than kill this beautiful lady for nothing and setting her corpse ablaze? I personally am not in support of this. Sister Norma, I like your hair, you look good. My name is Daniel Lilo.
Okay.
From your
I said the phone lines are buzzing. We have some callers, but
So
I think
many,
we lost
yeah.
the call. But we have one final comment quickly.
Yes, I
then
do
we can
have
wrap up.
one from Iori in Gombe State. She says, good evening, ladies. Majority of these Muslims don't read the Quran for themselves. They listen to sermons, and that is what programs them. Even in Christianity, you see Christians who no longer read the Bible for themselves. I think that's very apt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know these things for themselves. They do not question, like you said. They do not question to go and read for themselves. They just take what they're being taught hook, line, and sinker, and just deposit it. And that's where enlightenment and education comes in.
So, right, on that note, I think we're going to bring back the conversation around religion, you know. So for us, it's not a fight thing. It's for us to just have understanding, because I believe that with dialogue and conversations, you are supposed to hear each other, hear from the Muslims, hear from the Christians, and hear where and try to find the root cause of the problem. We hear our phone lines are buzzing, but we're sorry we can't take more calls. Thank you to everyone that called. The phone is ringing in my ear. Thank you to everyone that called. Thank you. We're just praying and we're hoping that this girl will find justice and her death will not just be wasted. It will educate both Muslims and Christians on what to do if situations like this arise. You don't have to take a life to pass the message across. Right, so our heart goes out to the mom. I mean, I read somewhere where the mom was saying that Deborah was the first.
She's the first out of 7 children.
Out of 8 children, and that so the remaining 7 children, they're not going to school anymore.
Yeah,
and she has left the matter
to God,
to in the hands of God, for God to take care. It's sad. It's really sad. Thank you so much, Norma. Thank you to everyone that called and sent in their messages. Now, before we go, ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. On Twitter is at PlusTvAfrica1. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all the engagements on social media. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. It is an universal law. Intolerance is the first sign of an inadequate education. An ill-educated person behaves with arrogance, impatience, whereas truly profound education breeds humility. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. to bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.